Hi, welcome to second week of Food Mood. In the last week, we covered what are the different types of fruits and vegetables available to us other than brown color. We also try to understand what are the different food pairings that can be done so that we don't experience sudden spikes in our blood sugars. We try to understand how a food plays a role in the hormones in our body and therefore affecting our emotions and our mood. And we also discussed about some of the tips to integrate these changes in our current lifestyle. If you haven't already seen the video, I would recommend to go to my YouTube channel and go through these presentations. It's a 5-week series of pre-recorded sessions which will make you a more skillful eater and improve your relationship with food. In this week, we will be covering what is the significance of different colors. Why do we say that you should combine food of different colors on your plate? What role does it play? What has color to do anything with our lifestyle and improvement and health? So let's get started. In the previous week, we saw how certain food groups release happy hormones in our body, and some of them release stress-based hormones in our body. Now, this is a very virtuous cycle. Once we are stressed, we start experiencing an emotional hunger. Over the next few weeks, we will also try to understand the difference between emotional hunger and physical hunger. We will try to understand in detail what are the different symptoms so that we can identify what is it that we are experiencing and how to tackle based on the kind of hunger that we have. More of that later. Now let us look at what is the impact of colors and why having a colorful plate is important. So where do these colors really come from in different food groups? So in the plants, there are actually thousands of chemicals available in different pairings. Even all of them have not even been studied well in science as yet. We have only discovered part of these chemicals. These are known as phytochemicals. And some of the examples are carotenoids, flavonoids, anthocyanins, lycopene, lutein. More of which we will cover in the coming slides. Now, if we look at the first color, the red colored foods, the color red itself stands for danger, for emergency. Similarly, in foods, it stands for blood producing foods, improving your immunity, to overcoming danger, to reducing inflammation. Yes, it is an emergency response. So always keep in mind that red colored foods are for immunity, emergency, and producing blood. Now let us look at some of the red colored foods. For example, red apples, red grapes, raspberries, strawberries, red cabbage, red onions, cherries, cranberries, pomegranate. Now you would remember that some of these are really emergency fruits. For example, if you're anemic, then doctors prescribe you to eat beetroot or pomegranate. And you should keep in mind that if your immunity is low, or if you are anemic, or if you need to have anti-inflammatory foods, then red is the color to go to. Now let us look at what does it contain and why the food is red. Now let's look at what are the compounds present in these red colored foods. One of them being lycopene. Lycopene is an antioxidant which keeps your heart healthy, it protects your eyes and fights off infection. Example, tomato-based products, pink grapefruit, etc. The second popular compound is anthocyanins. It protects the liver, eyes and reduces blood pressure. Some of the food products which contain anthocyanins: berries, beets, beetroot, apples, red cabbage, red onions, kidney beans. So wherever possible, try to choose red onions instead of white, red cabbage instead of green. And the deeper the color of the food, the more phytochemicals are present. The more is the concentration of the phytochemicals, which goes to say the better it is for you. So how do we implement this? Now that we know that red color, what is the significance of red color, and once we have associated it with emergency, inflammation, and response mechanism, what do we have to change in our lifestyle? We always should choose red over other color, such as red grapes versus green grapes. Which one should you pick? The red one. Red onions versus white? Red onions. Red cabbage versus green? Always the red. Red wine versus white? Always the red wine. Red potatoes over brown potatoes? Always the red one. Yes? Now let's move to our next color. So the next in line we have the orange colored foods. Orange is a sign of warmth, vibrance, creativity. So when we use the word creative, we should keep in mind that it has to do with all the reproductive organs. It is also helpful for fatty tissues such as skin, ovaries, etc. Now let's have a look at some of the orange foods available, such as carrots, mango, pumpkin, peaches, banana, butternut squash, pineapple, apricot, orange, sweet potato, yellow bell peppers. So you can look at the kind of variety that is available to us in yellow colors. So if we want good skin, we want good regular periods, we need to stick to orange colored foods. Now let us look at what are the compounds available in orange color foods. Number one is beta carotene. Beta carotene is actually very popularly spoken, discussed, so you might be aware of that. Now beta carotene produces vitamin A, and vitamin A is very integral for our vision and immune function, as well as skin and bone health. So the carrots are often consumed if we want to increase our beta carotene consumption. The other examples are butternut squash, pumpkin, sweet potatoes, and mangoes. The other thing available, the other compound available in orange foods is bioflavonoids. Now, bioflavonoids work with vitamin C to reduce the risk of cancer and improve the immunity. Some of the examples: oranges, lemons, peaches, papaya, and it also keeps the skin hydrated and protected. So again, let's remember the orange color associated with creativity, associated with reproductive system, and with the fatty tissues such as skin, ovaries, etc. So if we want a healthy looking plump kind of skin, then we need to go to orange foods. It's also associated with the sacral chakra, the orange chakra in our body, more of which will be covered over the coming weeks. Next we come to yellow foods. Yellow is a color which is associated with digestion, energy, metabolism. Also, if you look at some of the acids, they are yellow in color. Even the bile that is produced in the liver is yellowish green in color. So yellow is the color of digestion, a good gut health. So let's look at some of the examples of yellow foods. Yellow apples, yellow figs, lemons, kiwis, yellow pears, pineapple, yellow peppers, yellow corn, summer squash, yellow tomatoes. Now, these foods are generally prebiotic in nature, and some of them are very fibrous and starchy, such as winter squash, potatoes, yams, etc. They are all associated with easy, good digestion, light. Not only fruits and vegetables, actually you would notice that a lot of herbs which are used in our kitchen, such as saffron, honey, pineapple juice, ginger, cinnamon, amla, a lot of herbs are haldi, turmeric. A lot of them are yellow in color, yeah, and they are also associated with improving digestion and improving the enzymes which are required to hasten our metabolism. So yellow foods are the foods to go to if you are having digestion issues. Now let's look at the compounds which are available in the yellow foods. The number one being lutein. It maintains the health of the eye, also reduces the risk of cataract. Now yellow foods are also very feel-good foods, So if we look at the hormone serotonin, which is more like a happy hormone in our body, the table is a little small, but here the highest concentration of serotonin is in pineapple and banana. So banana is a real good feel good food. Whenever you are feeling low, please do not reach out for those desserts or French fries, as French fries is not a yellow food. French fries is artificially colored to have the yellow look. Also, just a disclaimer here that when we talk about colors in the foods, we are not talking about artificial colors and flavors. I might have a pink looking donut, I might have a purple looking donut, but that does not make it any healthy. When we are talking here about colored foods, we are talking about the foods, the way they occur naturally in the ecosystem. Yeah. So next we talk about green foods. Green foods are one of the most abundantly available foods around us. Green color stands for nature, for healing. It's also associated with heart chakra, which is usually shown as with the green color. And it is one of the most dominant foods. Now the green food contains chlorophyll in it. What does chlorophyll do? It basically harnesses the energy of the sun to produce the necessary nutrients for plants. Now, denser the color of the green, the more phytochemicals are there. This is one rule we should remember, that if any of the colors is more deep, that means that the food has more phytochemicals in it. So for example, if I have a dark green lettuce versus a light lettuce, then we know which one to opt for. The darker one, because the darker one has more phytochemicals. So if we are anyways consuming lettuce, let us choose the right one. Now let us look at some of the green fruits and vegetables available around us. Even though they don't need any introduction, they are very common in our kitchens, but still I thought it is important to share a list of green fruits and vegetables. So avocados, green apples, green grapes, kiwi, limes, green pears, artichokes, arugula, asparagus, broccoli, sprouts, celery, cucumber, green beans, cabbage, kale, etc., 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 right? So the list is long because it is one of the most abundant fruits available to us. Now, green also has a lot of compounds inherent in it. You would have noticed sometimes when you leave a green food for some time, it tends to become yellow. Now, that is because the rest of the phytochemicals are also present in green. Now let's look at what are the compounds that are present. So first one is lutein, which we covered earlier. It maintains the health of the eye. So the doctors are never wrong when they're saying that if you have a poor vision and they're telling you to eat your green veggies, or if your parents are telling you to eat green veggies, they are never wrong. Chlorophyll is a very, very powerful antioxidant, and consumption, even for the human body, it is quite helpful. Indoles protect against cancer. Phytosterols help in reducing cholesterol, and they have anti-inflammatory properties. Isothiocyanates, they stimulate the detoxification in the liver, cleansing the body of heavy metals, heavy minerals, and toxic substances. Leafy greens such as spinach and broccoli are excellent sources of folate, which is a B vitamin, which helps reduce the risk of birth defects. It is also an excellent source of vitamin K, potassium, omega-3 fatty acids. So here you have your dose of multivitamins through green colored compounds and green colored foods. So incorporate them into your diet. Now here I want to spend some time to talk about bitter greens. Now if you have digestion issues, then introduce bitter greens such as methi, palak, spinach, karela. Now the reason we introduce bitter greens is because they have they help in a certain peptide release, which helps in removing gas from the body. It helps in the contraction of gallbladder. It helps in increasing your bowel movements. in the small intestine. It helps in increasing the enzymes and thereby improving your digestion. You would have noticed like some of these Ayurvedic herbs, they are very bitter, and they are known as kashayams. Now they are very bitter and they have these bitter greens as part of them. So if you have any digestion issues, try to incorporate bitter greens such as methi, karela, etc. The taste just grows on you. It's a matter of just consuming it often and getting into the habit of taking it. The next, my favorite, purple foods, also associated with the Anya Chakra. Now, purple foods are very rare. So, Anya Chakra is here in the third eye. Now, this purple foods is all associated with brain, cognition, memory, with focus, concentration, sleep. So whenever you think about purple, you think about the third eye chakra, and you think about associating the purple foods with your mental well-being. Now, purple foods are also very rare. Let's have a look at some of the available options. So we have lot available in fruits, especially like blackberries, blueberries, blackcurrants, elderberries, the whole berries family, the purple grapes, the plums, the prunes, raisins, and so on and so forth. In terms of vegetables, we have our favorite brinjal, the king of all vegetables. We have the purple cabbage, we have the purple peppers, and so on and so forth. Now, again, wherever possible, try to substitute your green foods with either purple cabbage or red cabbage, because these are more deeper colors and they will deliver more phytochemicals to your body. Now let us again look at the compounds which are available in purple. The first one being anthocyanins. They are very powerful antioxidants and they help in reducing the aging process. They help in reducing diabetes, the memory loss. They are also very useful for conditions like Alzheimer's, heart attack complications. The second compound is phenolics. Again, powerful antioxidants, slowing the age of signing. So if you want to be slowing your signs of aging, then purple foods are the foods to go to. Purple is rare. Choose purple wherever you can. For example, in case of cabbages, in case of grapes, kale. Grape juice helps in blood thinning and moving easy circulation of the blood. White foods. White is usually the crown chakra, the top of the head. These are again rare foods, very pure foods used for detoxification. Now let's have white always stands for pure, right? Like if you see white is a color which doesn't absorb much. So they say that if you want to keep your energy pure, you don't want to absorb anybody else's vibrations or energy, then you should wear white more often. So white is a color which is associated with a lot of purity and detoxification. So let us look at some of the foods. Banana, white pear, cauliflower, garlic, mushrooms, parsnips, white onions, white potatoes, right? Okay, so now these are the colors which, like garlic, right? This is again for detox, cleansing your system. Mushrooms are very good for you. You will see that some of the food products here are repeated in the food colors, and that is because I'm sure you can appreciate that the foods that are available in the nature, they will usually not occur in a single color. They might occur as a combination of 2-3 colors, right? Like for example, the green, as I said, that if you leave the green food, it starts to turn yellow. That is because the yellow part is already incorporated into the greens. So similarly, like banana was featuring in the yellow foods as well as the white foods, right? So here you don't have to like clearly, like try to see that, okay, is banana white or a yellow? The idea here is that you should try to have as many colors on your plate as possible, because different colors have a different function. They affect our mood, they affect our emotions. They are also associated with different chakras in our system, more of which will be covered over the next few weeks. So the idea here is to have as many colors as possible. Now let's look at what is the compound available in white foods. Anthocyanins. This particular compound lowers cholesterol and blood pressure. That is why the patients of blood pressure or cholesterol, they are often recommended to have a raw one clove of garlic in the mornings because this is it lowers cholesterol and blood pressure. It also contains, the white products contains sulfur, which detoxifies the liver and helps with the protein structure and skin health. So white foods, detoxification, purity. Remember the word and the connection. So how do we know that if our body has adequate levels of phytonutrients? Before that, let's revise the colors once. So red stands for emergency, inflammation. Orange stands for creativity related to reproduction and fatty tissues such as skin and ovaries. Yellow related to digestion, metabolism. Green, always found in the nature earth, stands for heart, for replenishing, for nutrients. Purple is rare, related to brain, cognition, memory. White foods, purity and detox. Okay, so now how do we, going forward, how do we know that if our body is having adequate levels of phytonutrients? And what are phytonutrients? Revision question. Phytonutrients are the chemicals which are available, compounds which are available in the food groups of different colors. Yeah. Now I'm sharing here some handy tips which you can use to increase the consumption of your phytonutrients. Simple examples: having herbal teas. You can add spices and microgreens in your veggies. For example, if you have cooked anything, why do we have this practice of adding dhania, coriander? Our grandparents were super intelligent and they knew what are the right approaches to having a healthy lifestyle. So adding spices and microgreens such as arugula leaves or rosemary, thyme, oregano over your veggies is like making the same dish more powerful, more antioxidant capacity, and you are not changing anything else. You're just sprinkling it and enhancing the taste. Herbal teas are a very good way. Over the next few weeks, I will also be covering different recipes for detoxification teas and how we can combine and make herbal teas at home rather than spending so much money outside. So, yeah, and what are some of the spices? We can have jeera water for digestion. We can have ajwain for weight loss. We can have tulsi or basil tea for calming ourselves. We can have peppermint tea for digestion issues. So more of that will be covered over the few next weeks. Adding a dash of oregano on your bread or eggs not only makes it tasty and flavorful, but also you are packing a punch of antioxidants into your food. If you have soups, smoothies, or broths, then adding herbs to it is going to increase again the phytochemical phytonutrients, and also the antioxidant capacity of your food, and thereby making your food your medicine. It will also reduce your dependence on medicines and supplements. So in the end, I just want to say that, don't eat the vegetables because they are good for you. Actually eat them because they are so gorgeous in nature. And how do you start appreciating their beauty? By having different colors on your vegetables. Trust me, if you start getting into the habit of adding more colors to on your plate, you will get so used to it that you would feel like adding more and more presentations. I'll also be discussing about the cooking methods, because the way we cook the vegetables, in the end, everything just keeps looking yellow or brown. So thereby we don't end up appreciating different colors of different vegetables. So what are the different ways in which we should consume them so that we can actually fall in love with these colors? More of that in the upcoming weeks. In the next week's module, we'll be covering about processed versus unprocessed foods. We will be discussing about different food groups and what are the calories associated. We'll be talking about the macronutrients. We'll talk about good fats, carbs, and sugars, and what are the right replacements. We'll also talk about recommended cooking methods. As I covered, everything should not be looking yellow and brown on our plates because that's what we've got used to. And how do we make it more colorful? Raw is not the only way to eat colors or to add colors on your vegetables. There's a lot of options in cooking methods which is available to us. We just have to be more aware about it. We'll also talk about how can you set goals depending on your lifestyle and depending on what is your target. How can we move more towards goal setting? Because remember, our relationship with food is very, very emotional. It is not just, yeah, done, you just take notes and you're done with it. No, because it is a very emotional journey. So over the next few weeks, we will also talk about how do we maintain the motivation, how do we start with small changes, how do we start with towards lifestyle changes so that you yourself become a skillful eater and stop your reliance on somebody else deciding as to what you should be eating. So that's the whole objective of this food mood series, to become a more skillful eater and adapting your lifestyle based on where you are currently positioned. So that's all.